murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
All right, you're tapped in. Let's get right to it. So we have this candidate, Kevin Ford Jr., who is running for Maryland Senate. Now, the thing about this brother is that he was in the news, and because of his political ties, the issue he was involved in got swept under the rug, literally. He created a lot of physical harm to another individual who, by the way, was his frat brother at a bar, but the bar was hosting a fraternity event. So these frat brothers get into this scuffle, and it became more than that, where Kevin Ford Jr. used a glass as a weapon and literally cut the man's face open with this glass. In most cases, any of us get caught up in a situation like that, first things for sure, we're going to be arrested, and that will entail some type of criminal case. We will be charged because a lot of us don't have political ties or connections. We'll have to go through that process in the judicial system, you know, the criminal courts, as a result of our actions. But this is not the case for Kevin Ford Jr. Now, again, he is plugged in politically. He has political connections, and it shows because, again, that case has went away. I have a clip. I want to bring this clip in, let you guys get a little more insight in terms of what I'm talking about. But Kevin Ford Jr., he is a Democratic candidate, and he's running for the Maryland State Senate to represent District 24 in Prince George's County. That will be PGC, Prince George County. I guess that's what they call it down there. With the primary election, it's scheduled for being held for June 23rd, 2026. He's a small business owner, community advocate, and former political campaign manager. Ford is running on a platform focused on education, public safety, and economy. But the key details about him in terms of his background is that he is the founder and principal broker of 4D Properties, a vice president of the Marlboro Pike Partnership, CDC, and a 2011 graduate of Morehouse College. His political experience: he served as a delegate in the 2024 Democratic National Convention and was a member of Governor Wes Moore's transition team. Campaign focus: District 24. His campaign Forward with Ford emphasizes improving public schools, increasing affordable housing, supporting small businesses, and enhancing community-based violence prevention. All right. Now, his endorsements and support would include, as of 2026, he's received endorsements from the Working Families Party and the Maryland Forward Party. In January 2026, his campaign announced it had raised over $200,000, indicating strong early financial support. And you want to wonder where that support comes from. But the controversy in May 2026, local news reported on resurfaced expunged charges from a 2024 altercation, which Ford addressed as a self-defense situation. I have that clip inside this bar where this event was taking place that was hosted by their fraternity or some other fraternity. I have to say, it's quite shocking that he was able to get that case expunged just based on the degree of damage that was done to this other individual. And in the clip, you'll see where most are saying he initiated all of this. All right. Now, without further ado, let's bring that clip in. But before we do, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to TAP, the Art of Political Discourse. You guys' participation and viewership, as we always say here, is very much appreciated. So please go in and like and share this, get out, as well as subscribe to this channel. Now, without further ado, let's get this clip in here. This is Kevin Ford Jr., and this is courtesy of NBC4 in Washington, okay?
Putting a spotlight on a candidate for Maryland State Senate. Kevin Ford Jr. is running for State Senate in Prince George's County's 24th District. But 2 years ago, he faced felony charges, including attempted second-degree murder from that fight. All of the charges were later dropped and his record expunged.
Now, that's the part you want to get to. You want to ask, especially for a lot of other individuals from these communities who aren't on the national stage, so to speak, you know, who don't have political ties or support. How could that happen when we have so many other individuals in the community who do not get that type of I don't know what to call it other than political hush hush, you know, where people will come in and say, hey, to the DA, to the judge or whoever, let this case go away. Let's sweep it under the rug. Okay, we'll go through the preliminaries, but eventually we want to expunge this attempted murder charge. Period. No, the whole thing is over and done with. And that's the shocker for a lot of us in the communities. And then to boot, here's a guy who advocates nonviolence or crime prevention in the communities, but he's running for Maryland Senate.
Investigative reporter Tracy Wilkins sat down with Ford, who is going on the record about what happened that night and why he believes it should not impact his run for Senate. A warning that some of the images in this report are disturbing.
Okay, and before we get to this, again, you guys pay attention. Pay attention. And we also ask that after this is said, done, think about it and drop those thoughts and your opinions in the comments. We would like to have that discussion in the comment section as well.
Kevin Ford is a first-time candidate running for state senator in Prince George's County's 24th district, but he's not new to politics. Former Prince George's County executive Rashawn Baker is his godfather. Ford managed 2 of his political campaigns. He says he's clear about the campaign he wants for himself.
One thing I know about the people of the 24th district is that they don't really like negativity. They don't want to see nasty campaigns. And that's exactly what's going on here.
Ford's referring to text messages circulating showing his now expunged charges for 2 felonies, including attempted second-degree murder, assault in the first degree, and a misdemeanor for the use of a dangerous weapon with intent to injure. It's still—
Well, that's 2 charges of felonies. And they were both expunged. And this is a guy who wants to represent individuals in Prince George County. Another Trump, but a Democrat, right? Where the law does not apply to him.
Stemmed from an altercation at a fraternity fundraiser in 2024.
I felt like my safety was in imminent threat. And unfortunately, I was placed in a position where I had to defend myself.
How did you do that?
Again, I would rather not dive into the particulars of the situation.
The News for I-Team obtained video from that December evening 2 years ago inside a College Park restaurant. In it, Ford walks behind his fraternity brother, ADRIAN WILCOX, with a glass in hand. The two begin to talk. There is no audio.
Did you say anything to denigrate him, call him any names?
Prior to the altercation?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. And so you have to start asking, where do these guys come off at? Where do they get the balls? Just that brief clip showed that this is a guy who seems to be escalating a situation. He's in back of another guy. I mean, not passing by, saying, excuse me, let me get by, but he's all up on this guy's back and in his ear, you know. And for a lot of us, we understand that language. That language only means one thing. He's being aggressive, very aggressive.
And he did the same as well.
In the video, WILCOX can be seen shoving Ford, and then a fight erupts. According to the complaint filed in court by WILCOX, Ford beat him with that glass cup. This was the aftermath, according to WILCOX, who also provided the I-Team with his medical records. Pictures show several stitches to the front of his face, a broken nose, staples in the back of his head, and he says he also has nerve damage.
Did you have to go to the hospital for stitches?
I did. I had stitches.
Tell me about your stitches.
My stitches were in my finger.
Do you feel that your response to him was an overreaction?
No, I don't.
Do you have anger issues?
Absolutely not. This was my first altercation ever
that we know of. And if you look at this guy right now, and his whole demeanor is kind of cocky, and it doesn't seem remorseful. You know, there's more like a a smirk-like attitude in his facial features, you know. He's frowned up like, hey, you know, very cocky.
And unfortunately, I was just placed in a position where I was forced to have to be physical. And
now, again, if you look at the tape, he said he was placed as though, you know, he's implying this guy put him in a position to where that altercation took place. If we look at the clip kind of closely, well, you don't have to look at it kind of closely. He is initiating aggressive, you know, not just body language, but you could tell whatever's coming out of his mouth, it is being said to antagonize someone. You know, again, for a lot of people who will look at this clip, you'll see automatically who's responsible here in this clip. But this guy, he wants to be your senator over there in Maryland. And yeah, anger issues, pretty much. He has those, you could tell.
That's not my character. Most people that know me could attest to the fact that that is not my character, has never been my character.
Wilcox declined an on-camera interview, but in a statement released to News 4, said in part, I survived a brutal assault on December 13th, 2024 at the hands of Kevin Ford Jr., someone who shows no regret or remorse for his actions. This trauma has altered my life, yet the absence of any accountability from my attacker deepens the wound beyond the physical. It is a daily reminder of pain, resilience, and the urgent need for justice. Both men pressed assault charges against one another. A district court commissioner elevated Ford's to attempted second-degree murder.
These are serious charges. What happened with those felony charges?
Right.
The charges that were originally levied upon me were not sustainable in court, and they knew that, and that's why they dropped them.
Charges for both men were eventually dropped and their records expunged. The I-team searched and confirmed they're no longer publicly available. Ford's campaign for state senate has garnered support from U.S. Senator Angela Alsobrooks, and he says he has more high-profile endorsements coming.
I think that this is really a Hail Mary attempt to try to stop the momentum that I've gained over the past few months in this campaign.
He accused his opponent in the Democratic primary, Delegate Tiffany Alston, for circulating the now expunged charges. Alston responded to those allegations in a statement that says, in part, the fact is several constituents have reached out about this man's temperament and his violent behavior and the lack of accountability because of his political connections. And no, I'm not spreading it, but I will make sure that every citizen gets justice and people are held accountable for their actions.
Well, there it is there, the political connections. His godfather is in politics as well. He's being supported by Also Bright, or Also Brand is her name. This is why we see that case, those felony charges, a couple of them, as a matter of fact, being swept under the rug, or this whole thing, or his charges and case being expunged. That makes no sense. You know, for most of us, like I said, that there'd be no way on God's earth that we or these and other individuals would get away with such a thing. No, you would have that second-degree attempted murder charge, or you'll have some type of assault and battery with great bodily injury, but it would not get swept under the rug. And this is a guy who wants to be a representative. He wants to be in politics.
Both candidates are seeking to replace longtime Senator Joanne Benson, who after more than 30 years announced she would not run again.
How do you begin to fill those shoes? How do you begin to come into the 24th after Joanne Benson, after Joanne Benson's 24th?
I'm excited to continue the conversations that I've been having with Senator Benson, and I look forward to earning her support.
What can you say to the voters to ensure that you're not going to be a problem for the 24th?
This is my community. I take extreme pride in my community, and I have not had any other incidents outside of this that would point to me having any level of impropriety.
Ford acknowledged to me he has not had contact with Adrian Wilcox, but said he hopes to do that in the future. He said he is sorry that Wilcox was injured, but prefaced he was assaulted and had to defend himself. So,
well, I tell you what,
just an unfortunate situation. You know, these guys are fraternity brothers, and in Black Greek letter organizations, that is something that lasts well beyond college. These are lifelong bonds. So just to see that this even happened is very sad. But of course, there are also questions about exactly what unfolded and how the felony charges went away.
Right.
And Ford stood by the fact that the state's attorney's office did not feel like there was evidence to support the felony charges and downgraded those charges. And these two gentlemen both pled the fifth and eliminated those misdemeanor charges.
What is
I don't know about that. And again, so your thoughts on this, because I'm telling you, this is something unheard of. Unless, yeah, you have political connections or you're an individual who is tied in with some very powerful people, you know, where criminal charges like that get swept under the rug or the whole thing, you know, the record, the file gets expunged. He said that he felt his safety was in imminent danger. There was an imminent threat to his safety. Looking at the video, he couldn't have felt that way. Again, this video shows, at least for me, that he was being a protagonist. He was antagonizing this other individual. He caused or created that whole situation, and yet he's on the news talking about, hey, man, he was forced into a bad situation, a situation that clearly shows he initiated. To have this thing on front and center like it is, you know, a situation that involves him, an individual who wants to be a candidate for, you know, Maryland Senate, thrust into the limelight, I think is a good thing. We need to know who these individuals are, because, okay, if you're doing that at a fraternity event, it wasn't just a night out, you know, in a club. These individuals all knew each other. They're from the same fraternity. You wonder, like, okay, what's really going on in there? And it seemed like there was something very, very personal in that discussion with these two. Something very personal. I can't call it. I'm not going to attempt to call it, but there's a lot of comments in regards to what that issue could be. But this is something that needs to be addressed for real. Those in Maryland, let's hope those in Prince George's County have enough sense to not elect this guy. I have to say that, you know. No, you know, and this guy is an advocate supposedly of nonviolence, of peace in the community, of violence or crime prevention. That was a crime that he partook in. There's no way in the world that he should be elected to the Maryland Senate as a result of what he went through. And then, look, let's shine some light on this thing for real. Let's, you know, come on. That is the last thing you want on your record. You know, an individual who wants to be a politician, but you have this on your record, it should affect your race. It should affect your candidacy. You should not, as a result of what you did, be elected to the Maryland Senate as a result of your actions. You need to be held responsible and accountable. And hopefully the people in Maryland, Prince George's County, have enough sense to not vote this guy in office, because there's something wrong with the system, beginning with his file, his case, his record being expunged, especially after something like that. He cut that guy up pretty bad, and he complains about his stitches in his finger. You know, I don't know. Tell us what you think about this. We thought that this was worth exposing because, again, we you know, there's a lot of hypocrisy, especially in politics. There are a lot of individuals who are involved in politics. These individuals are corrupt to the core. A lot of issues concerning or involving these individuals, we have very little knowledge of what they've gotten away with, what was swept under the rug, you know. But this being that this is out in the open, that issue was exposed. This should not be an individual or candidate, at the very least, who is able or should be able to run for political office. And I'm pretty sure with the support he's getting, I wonder where that support is coming from. And I'm pretty sure it's coming from places or people other than the fraternity, the Black Letter fraternity he's in, his godfather, who's also involved in politics, and another politician in Maryland. I think her name was Also Bright or Also Brand, something like that. Something is wrong with these people to want to support and endorse this individual. I'm pretty sure APEC would love to have him in office, because they have to be looking at like we would be able to utilize this guy. Yeah, that's the kind of guy we want in politics. His behavior says that. I'm pretty sure they recognize that type of behavior as somebody they'd be able to work with. You know, that's my take on it. Let us know what you think. Put those thoughts in the comments. And again, whether you're on the side of Kevin Ford Jr. or you agree with the piece that was presented to you guys, that this is an individual with issues who should not be in the political arena or, you know, on a political platform. You know, behind the scenes, okay, but not running for political office. In fact, he shouldn't be involved in politics at all. That's our take on it here at TAP. Tell us what you think. Until next time, take care of yourselves and one another.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.